Alright, welcome in. I'm the Kodiak, and I just woke up, which means it is time to talk about Xavier Worthy and how he fits in with the Chiefs. But before we get into it, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're not already. You can always wait until the end, and hopefully I'll hover in both of those. But let's get right into it. So the Chiefs came into this offseason with one objective and one objective only: to improve on what was the worst wide receiver room in the NFL the past 2 years. It had to be tiresome for Brett Veach and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes to look at games just blatantly get thrown away by the worst wide receiver core in the entire NFL. I firmly believe that Marquez Valdes-Scantling was the worst wide receiver in the NFL this past year, but they had no other option. They had to keep trotting him out there because who else did they have? Their other options were Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore. So this team has been really lackluster at the wide receiver department in the past few years, but they improved upon it, and they improved upon it in a huge way. And yeah, the Chiefs were good this year, but they were good off the backs of their elite defense. Honestly, in a lot of their big games, their offense completely ended up letting them down. Now, it does speak to the greatness of Mahomes and Reid and Veach that this team was able to still win in spite of their offense having a lot of lackluster performances, because this team transitioned from a high-flying offensive unit to playing lockdown defense, and that's how they were able to win their Super Bowl. Talking about Xavier Worthy, the Chiefs' offense is something to behold because it has transitioned from a high-flying juggernaut when Kansas City had Tyreek Hill and Mahomes was in his first year starting, and defenses didn't really know how to counteract what Mahomes and Reid were throwing at them, to a dink and dunk offense where Mahomes' average depth of target has been like 5 or 6 yards downfield. And this is due to a few reasons. Teams have been terrified of being beat over the top the past few years in the NFL, so they're fine with letting the Chiefs take what they can get throughout the middle and playing the game management and playing the too high shell. But also, the Chiefs had zero talent at the wide receiver position, so you really couldn't, burn that many guys over the top even if you wanted to. Now, granted, they still have won the Super Bowl back-to-back years, even with the worst wide receiver room in the league. But now they do have talented weapons, which means, I don't know, it's going to be tough to stop them from three-peat, that's for sure. But my eyebrows last year definitely raised when they selected Rashee Rice, because I viewed that as a really poor selection. He was a terrible man coverage beater, worst man coverage beater in Matt Harmon's reception perception database ever. But they developed him, and they made him a legit weapon, and Andy Reid knew how to use the things that he was actually good at. So talking about Xavier Worthy, at 5'11", 165 pounds, Worthy ran the 40-yard dash in a record-setting 4.21 seconds at the NFL Combine. He finished third in Texas history with 26 touchdowns and fourth most career receiving yards ever, 2,755 at Texas. Now, Worthy stated that his lone interview with Kansas City came at the Combine. And even with the run on offense, the Chiefs were able to get great value when they traded up in the first round because there were so many good offensive players this draft. So with the 28th pick, the Chiefs traded up. They love speed, and getting Worthy in the late first was a dream scenario for them, especially as they envisioned him building a connection with Patrick Mahomes. Now, the Chiefs might have to rely on Worthy a little sooner than they may have hoped, because Rashee Rice is going through legal trouble right now. And Worthy, who has never missed a game in college, is very durable, and he has a chance to become a reliable option for Mahomes like almost immediately. And they're another interesting team because of offensive ecosystem, because they have a wide receiver one in a tight end's body. But I have a feeling that this team is about to go through another revolution due to the fact that they actually have some semblance of legit weapons at wide receiver now with Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Hollywood Brown. So we know what Xavier Worthy did at the Combine, but not only is he fast, but in addition to his blazing 40 time, the other notable number from Worthy's Combine is his 165-pound weigh-in, and that immediately sends up alarm bells that he may need a hyper-specific role in the NFL. But the NFL is changing to where guys like Tank Dell and Devontae Smith, who are undersized wide receivers weight-wise, ended up being good. And when his fundamentals are tight, he runs great routes, and he can take full advantage of his speed. And his speed and spatial awareness can be used in creative ways by Andy Reid, likely with, motion and opening up space and creating backbreaking plays when Worthy does get the ball and just let him house it. But if you plan on drafting him, you're probably planning on having him off the line as much as possible because you probably don't want him at X. Worthy is someone you would primarily want in the slot, off the line, and in motion. And if a defensive back gets his hands on him, he's toast. And he's going to have to develop that part of his game because he's going to the AFC West, where he's going to be facing some very athletic, very stingy corners. But the good thing about playing with Mahomes and Reed is, one, Reed can coach up rookies like no other. Two, Patrick Mahomes is the most forgiving quarterback for a wide receiver in the league. Now, maybe not like on a personal level, but if you don't get a chance to shine with Mahomes your first time, you're definitely going to get a lot more chances before they throw you away. They kept trotting out Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney over and over again before realizing that it just wasn't working out. But the selection from the Chiefs is great. It's exciting for the franchise. It'll be interesting to see how teams are going to interact playing the Chiefs now that they have not only semblances of speed, because they had speed before, they've had speed over the past 2 years, but they haven't had legit skill possession weapons. Like, yes, Isaiah Pacheco is good, and same with Rashee Rice, and same with Travis Kelce, but that wide receiver room has really been lacking. So there was one clear priority this offseason with the Chiefs. They realized this past season that they were just kind of throwing wins away by not having some semblance of legit weapons. So Veach is the GOAT GM in my opinion. Definitely one of the best personnel evaluators out there. I have no room to question his drafting. So, congrats to you guys. Congrats to Kansas City Chiefs, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.